Hey guys, welcome to Richie AI. My name is Richard. I'm a DevOps engineer by day and a no-code automation expert by night. So right now I created a workflow that searches for job posts from my favorite job board, which is hiring.cafe. So I created a workflow with some preset job terms that sends an API request to hiring.cafe to pull in all the data we'll need while searching for a job. It iterates through the job, aggregates the results, runs a duplication check to make sure we are not having the same job posts be sent to our role. There's a little filter here that filters out existing or non-existing job posts, and this runs every 12 hours, which is now sent to my Telegram whenever a new job posting becomes available. So I'm going to run this so you see how it works. But before I run it, this is my Google Sheet with all the preset terms that I have. It is going to search each and every one of this and return the results for each of them. But for this test purposes, I'll only be picking the two. So just to show you how it runs, I don't want us to iterate through all of this because then it would be a lot of data. Well, not that much, because this API call is only calling posts from the past day. So it shouldn't be that much, but let's see. Let's run this. No, before I run this, I just want to adjust the range, A2 to A3. I'm trying to adjust this so it doesn't pick everything. It only picks this two, A2 to A3. So instead of having the entire thing picked up, it's only going to pick up two terms. So let's save this, and this is, let's save this and we'll see where all the results will come out to. Then we'll create a new one from scratch. So when I run this once, I put, so this is a 10-second sleep because when you are sending API calls, you want to be lenient with your calls. So I put a 10-second sleep for each call. As you can see, the second call just went through while the first call was still coming through, and now we can see the flow has been completed. And while I was talking to you guys, I received an alert on my phone from the Telegram results. Let me show that to you. This is the job post that just came in now at 10:18 p.m. and 10:18 p.m. If we look at our scraper, only two jobs were found within the last day. I mean, this is a weekend, so obviously I don't really expect jobs to be posted during the weekend. but based on the criteria, we are going to check why. We're going to check how we ended up getting these two job postings. We have the job title, the core job title, the title search, the company name, the website URL for the company that posted this, their LinkedIn URL, and the job description, the technical tools, and the direct link to each job posting. But let's come back here to see what happened. So here we can see that the two calls were sent, the DevOps engineer call and the platform engineer call, because we only chose those two ranges to be picked up. Those two ranges iterated through, as you can see, DevOps from the first operation and platform engineer from the second operation. 10-second delay for both bundles. For the first operation, which was the DevOps engineer call, it returned a data set file of, okay, so apparently the DevOps engineer did not return any results, meaning there was no new jobs posted within the last 24 hours. That's Saturday night to now Sunday night. Yes, no job posted. No job posted with the criteria I gave it within the last 24 hours. For this, or I could change this to 3 days so you can see a lot more, or maybe when we create a new one, then we can see a lot more data with that, so you can see the duplication check in place. Then the second operation, which I'm guessing is the platform engineer. So I'm looking for yes, this is it, the search query, the platform engineer. This is the search query that returned two job posting results, which is what we see here, and iterated through, aggregated through, duplication checked. This checked if the job posting is there before, but since it wasn't there before, it continued. The two jobs were added to the sheet, to the row, which is what we see on the Google Sheet. Now, the fun thing with this is you can go ahead and do way much more with this. You can have it create a cover letter for you when applying to these jobs. You can have it prepare an interview preparation sheets for you based on the details of the company. But I'm going to show you one of those two extras, so you know what you can do with the data you are pulling. So I'm going to use a different account for this. I'm going to use a different account to run this. So we're going to run this from scratch. The first thing we want to do here is we want to make an HTTP call to the website irene.cafe. How do we do that? We want to first start by making a request. The URL. So to find the URL, one way to find URLs, especially an API URL when you want to scrape a website, is you can go to the website, you can inspect elements, Control Shift I, you can come to the network tab, and let's say we are searching for DevOps engineer. So every activity that is being done is being logged in the networking bar. So if I search, and let's say we you know, pick only the full-time, part-time, we maybe put some certain parameters, security clearance, we want that to be no. I think okay, close all this, let's go to reference. Let us add what else? We want this remote hybrid on site. Let's I'm trying to reduce the amount of searches we might come across. Let's pass 3 days, and I think this should be fine. 96 jobs and 63 companies. So we are going to search this again. We can either stop this, or we can close this and reopen it again to have a clean slate. So this is a clean slate now. Your logs are being recorded. So enter. Now that I've clicked on enter, this is the total. This is the result of the search we just did. So for the search jobs, this is the header. This is the API for the request URL. Again, not every website you want to scrape the data will be this direct. Some are usually behind a paywall, or some are usually behind logins. And if you have a login, or you have a paywall that you have a login to, then you want to get your authorization token when you log in. And depending on how often depending on the expiration date of your token, you can set a module to refresh and get your login token, which will now be passed into the request header to pull this data. But since this is just an open API, we don't need to go the extra step to do all of that. So this is the API, the request URL API. That is what we'll need for this. The method is post. So pretty much we're just going to copy all this information, because this is the information that was sent on the back end to return all of this. This is the get total count. If you check the response, you see 96 jobs and 63 companies. Pretty much 63 companies are posting 96 jobs, because some of them are stacked together. This job, it doesn't mean all the jobs are posted at the same time. Okay, all this were posted 3 days ago. Well, anyways, so for the search jobs, this is the JSON response. Everything you see here is here in a JSON format. For example, very ill. You can see this is okay. You can see very ill here. You can see the DevOps engineer, platform engineer for very ill. So every information that was posted out is here. But to get this, we are, like I said, we are going to copy everything. Well, not really everything, just some of the headers. So we're going to add a header. We need this, the accepts. So we're just going to fill this up real quick. This means it accepts everything. So I think this guy needs to, well, some people don't open the acceptance to everyone, but accept encoding. Shout out to Ali. There's a wonderful website, Iron Cafe. His goal is to make this website one of the best, and I can tell you it's really, 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 really good. The next one we want to do is, I'm just going to copy and paste the ones I've done. I've written down just to make this a little bit faster. What's this? What's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, so we're gonna copy this. Yeah, just making sure US in Q09. We don't need the content length. The content type, we don't need the content type. We can take some people take cookies. I think it depends on what you're trying to do. Cookies are pretty much to store little data of your what's it called? Your footprints, pretty much. Origin, then we take the user agent. We don't need the refer. We don't need anything that starts with SEC. The user agent is pretty much telling, when we run it from the API call, the user agent pretty much mimics a browser. So it's pretty much telling Iron.cafe's API that, hey, we're accessing you through a browser, but in real life we're actually accessing through an API call. We want to add a raw JSON content. So now this is the request that will be sent to Iron.cafe through the API to return the information we will need. And it's different for everyone depending on what you want to do. So where you can get this request content is, so we're done with the headers. Now we can come to the payload for search jobs. For search jobs, this is where you see the request, the body. This is the parameters. You can edit it to what you want. The things you just need to be more, the things you might we're just going to change. And to copy it, you just come to view source and you see the JSON in an unstructured format, looking all ugly. But you can easily straighten it out with a JSON pretty print on online websites. There's so many of them. Okay, I think they already pasted it. And on the right, you have your JSON format properly picked out and printed. So we will copy this and we are going to put this in here, and now we can see, so right now we've taken the search that produced all of this and we've added it in here. We're going to want to pass the response in a JSON format because we'll be working with a lot of JSON data. So you can even put your username and your password there. So this might be even a better way, instead of using the bearer token authentication, if you have a paywall at the back, but we don't need any of that today. So I'll be saving this. Let's run this, let's test it and see if it pulls the same data. Run this module only. The H, oh, that was quick, that was fast. Now this is the inputs, pretty much what we imputed, the information we gave the model, and you can see in the headers, this way the headers were filled up with the accept, with the accept encoding, with the language, the origin, and the user agent. Then the body, where is the body? The request contents. This is it. We want jobs within the US only. 20 years of experience, from 0 to 20 years of experience for management roles or regular roles. Exclude security clearance, none. It's bringing data from the last 4 days, fetching data from the last 4 days and using our search query of DevOps engineer. So all this data has been pulled in and we can see the results here in the outputs with over 55 jobs for the DevOps engineer search. So, and this 55 results are 55 different job postings. This is the very ill, the first one. You can see the job information here, the title, the description, the job data, pretty much the requirement summary, the technical tools that the job is looking for, the educational requirements, the role activities, and a bunch of other, the city, the state, the location of the job, and also company data. You can put in the company data, the industry it's in. Very ill is in the cannabis medical, so you know this is health related. So you can put in the data you want to work with. I look at some of this data when I'm applying to jobs. This is what makes me determine my data. This makes me determine what jobs I want to apply to. So we can see this works, but I will be changing this to, I don't want it pulling in, that is a lot of data because we're still going to mix it up a bit. So we'll just change this to 2 days. Oh, let's do 3 days. Or let's do 2 days. Let's do 2 days. So we're going to leave this as 2 days for now. So again, sometimes, you know, we can just leave it as one job for this test purposes, but I want to show how you can also put in multiple job post terms, because sometimes some job like DevOps engineer can either be called platform engineer, DevOps engineer, site reliability engineer, and they're all basically can perform the function of a DevOps engineer. So usually if you're the type of person who searches multiple job terms, you also want to add that to your flow. So we can start by adding a Google Sheet. So I already have a Google Sheet from earlier where we will store the preset job terms. So what we want to get here is get range values. So we're going to put this will be our new trigger. So our Google Sheet, we are going to connect it to the Google Sheet from earlier, the J scraper. We're going to use that. The sheet name is the J search. The range, remember the range had, let me see if I can bring it out. The range had a bunch of put it side by side. So this is the Excel sheet. I mean, let's add three. Let's add this three. A2 to A4. So we're going to use this range. So pretty much we want to only search for DevOps engineers, for platform engineer, for cloud engineers, cloud engineer roles. And I know you might be wondering, like, hey, what if the job title brings out the same post? Yes, down the line we're going to do a duplication check that will block any posts that repeats itself, maybe from the DevOps engineer search term or the platform engineer search term. So yes, this table contains header to the job title header. We can save this and we can run this module only, and you can see it's brought out the DevOps engineer, the platform engineer, and the cloud engineer. So now we want to map the results from the Google Sheets to the make request, but we can't just map it directly because we want to iterate through each of the terms that was called. Each of the job terms, we want to iterate through each of them, because you want to call them one by one. So what this iterator will do will take the results from the Google Sheet, get range values, you map it, you save it. So now when this runs, this is how it looks like. One will go, then it will get broken down into multiple outputs and starts processing it one after the other. So we also want to add so another thing is, when you are working with APIs, a lot of websites will not allow you to send out multiple API calls to their websites. That is why a lot of them use rate limiting. Some do it, some warns you not to do a rate limit for more than 3 seconds, some 5 seconds, some you can do like 20 requests in 10 minutes. Everyone has their rules, depending on their infrastructure. So but because we're going to be running through 3 different search terms, we're going to put a sleep function in here to, maybe we can just say delay it for 3 seconds. So for every job search term that is iterated through, after every iteration, before the next one starts, it's going to wait 3 seconds before the next job is being sent to the API to request the data. But remember, we've not yet mapped the Google Sheets data to the request, because it's going to be dynamic. So we want to map the search term. So in the request, remember we saw the search term somewhere. Yeah, this is a search query, DevOps engineer. So since we'll be searching DevOps engineer, platform engineer, cloud engineer, we want to take the value of the iterator. The value of the iterator is what we want to change out here, because you'll see, I'll show you that in a second. Let me run this and you understand what I'm trying to say. Run once. So as you can see, the iterator is sending requests for this first one, for the second one, now the third one, it's waiting before it sends the request. Now all 3 flows have been completed. So what we are going to see here is, for the 3 values that was picked up, because we picked the range from A2 to A4, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4. The iterator picked each of them and turned them into an operation each on its own. The first operation was the first value of DevOps engineer. The second operation is the platform engineer. The third operation is the cloud engineer. Now they're their own operation. So they're going to work one after the other. The sleep, obviously, gave it a 3-second delay before making a request. So for the first request that was sent in, this was for the DevOps engineer. Remember, this is the search query we mapped. This is the DevOps engineer for the first operation. The second operation should be platform engineer. Let's check the request content really quick. Where is it? Yes, platform engineer. And if you check the request content for the third operation that was imputed and sent, no, not the header, you will see this would be a cloud engineer search term. Why are they all different? Because we dynamically mapped the search query from the iterator. So for every search term that comes in one after the other, it's mapped here and the result is sent back to us. So in the output bundle, you want to check the data and look at your results. And now we have 12 job postings, and this is because we adjusted some of the search terms. So each of these are 12 different job posts for a DevOps engineer. The second operation for a platform engineer brought out 17 searches, 17 results. Let's see, one of this is called Dentsply job information. This is the job title. This is the direct apply link. This is the requirement summary. And all the information you want to know about the company name, Dentsply Sirona Brazil. So these are all job postings. And for the third operation, which was the cloud engineer, this has almost 44 results. And you see that some of these operations are the same. So now we want to move ahead to now work with the data that is being pulled in through this request. So what we want to add here is, again, an iterator. And what this iterator is going to do is it's going to iterate through the outputs of our results from our API. So you want to pick the results at the top that has the arrays with the brackets open and close, because this means that everything inside of the results that holds the data is basically in the array, in the brackets. So you want to pick the results because everything in that result is what will contain the data we need. So the iterator will iterate through each of the outputs. And now, so after by iterating, we are pretty much taking each result. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to work with only the data, because as you can see here, the output releases a bundle, and the bundle is the response of the API call, which shows you the status code, the header, the cookie headers. We don't need all this. What we only need is the data we want to work with, which we can see is nested, or sub-nested, nested, within the data, within the results. And now we want to work with those data. That is where the iterator comes in, and the iterator will help us with that by breaking down those nested or sub-nested arrays into their own bundles. That is what this is for. Um, so what we'll need after this now is an aggregator. And what an aggregator does, just even from the picture, you can see is that it takes in all the data that you want to work with and attributes it. And the reason why we're doing this, I'll explain in a minute, is because we want to take all that iterated data that will come here one by one and pick out the key values that would help us during our duplication. So, for example, now, the goal is pretty much to, let me remove this, right? The goal is pretty much to add this data to a row. And let me use this. So again, I have this. File already with the columns created, the job title, the core job title, the title search, the company name. The title search is pretty much the value from our iterator here. So this pretty much tells us, okay, which search term produced what results. You have the company name, the website URL, the LinkedIn URL. So these are just some parameters I picked out. You can pick any parameter you want, but this is just so that when a job post with the parameters I set comes out, it sends it to my Excel sheet where I can check and look at the quick information about it and go directly to the link and apply to it. And I also created a column called apply and interview. I'll tell you what this is later, but for now, this is the, so yes, let me remove this. This was from earlier. This was from earlier, from our first run. Okay, so I've deleted all that. So that was from the run earlier. So like I said, the goal is to take all the outputted values and map them to each column in the Google Sheet. But we can't do that yet because we will not be able to check for duplications. We will not be able to check for because again, we can just directly throw all of this into a Google Sheet with all the data here already, uh, and it will just, all we just have to do is map it and we're good. But again, like I said, there are times where let's even forget about the job terms. Let's say it's one job term, just only DevOps engineer you're searching, and you are running this every day. There's a 80-90% chance that it will pull in a job post that it already pulled in before. So again, that is another duplication you want to avoid. So hence, we are not going to map this directly yet. We can just leave that there for now. So in between, we want to add a Google Sheets. Well, the iterator first. So I iterate the results that comes out from here, and an aggregator to pick it up and now process the data. So for this, we will map this to the results, and for this we will select the module it's picking up the data from, which is our iterator number 8, and we want to select all the fields from our iterator, even though we're not going to be working with all of them, but we can still just pick everything. So now, and we also want to pick the value of the first iterator, and this value is the search term we are going to be using here. This search term, that is what this value is from iterator 3. Iterator 3 is this iterator. So we are picking the value. The value is this. This is the value. So we want to know what search term produced what results. So we're going to add that as well. And we can also group back. So again, we want to group this by something unique. So this is the iterator, this iterator 8. So we want a unique ID or a unique key, and what I would like us to use is the apply URL, and the apply URL is one of the most unique keys there, because no two job postings can have the same, no two different job postings can have the same URL. So we are going to group our aggregator results by the apply URL. When I run it, you will see what that means. This, you want to put it to yes, though it does I'm not really, though it doesn't matter, because you would not get an empty aggregation, but we can just put that there. I'm going to run this real quick so you can see the output of what this is meant to be, and let's run this again. So the iterator is iterating, return 12 results, though nothing has been mapped, so you don't see anything here. The second one is going now, it's increasing. Then the third one is processing and it's increasing, and we have some 3 different post results, but none of them is showing here yet because we've not yet mapped it, and that is because I want to set up the duplication module first to check for duplicated rows. So right now the iterator, so after this produces the 3 results, the iterator picks them up again as each operations. You can see the input, the outputs. Now the job postings are now their own bundles. Can you see there are 12 bundles from the first one? You can see, so the first one will give you 12 bundles, which is the DevOps engineer operation. The platform engineer operation is 17 bundles, which if you scroll down you can see all 17. The third operation, from you can see the information 44. Yeah, remember the cloud DevOps engineer posts gave us 44 different jobs. So these are the bundles. The job postings are now their own bundles, and you always want to work with bundles most of the time. Now you can now see again all the information, and you want to carry on all this information forward. That is where our aggregator pulls in all the information we picked up. For example, now this is the first operation, right? This is the DevOps engineer operation. This is the 12 bundles. As we can see, that was imputed, and the output again is 12 bundles, but this is where the difference is, the key. it has taken each of these bundles, each of these job postings, and it has made it an array. Look at everything here. But we needed this key because this key is vital. This key is what will help us with our duplication check. So pretty much we pulled out an information from the job posting to make it like the leader of the group because it's the unique one. So and you'll see why in a minute, and you see how they all play or how they all come together. So for now, we have said we want the apply URL, the direct apply URL to be the unique ID. So we are going to now add a search row module, and the purpose of the search row module is going to be there. So the purpose of the search row module is we are going to, it's going to search our sheets, our JScraper sheets, search our clean job sheets, the column range from A to Z. And what this does is it's checking, it's searching for that key value, for that unique URL. It's searching, and we're going to give it a command or a condition that if you see the key value, it means the job is already, I've already received the job maybe from an earlier post or from a different job search term. So we're going to say ignore or skip. So how we're going to do this is, now first of all we need to tell the Google search module what to look for while searching. So we're going to do this by filtering a column. So the column for this will be the apply URL column, which is the unique key. And we want to give it a text operator that says the apply URL must be equal to this key from the aggregator. You get what I'm saying? We want to make sure that the key, you might be saying, oh, why didn't we just do it directly from the iterator? Again, look at the output from the iterator. The iterator does not have, the iterator would not show you the values of the outputs from the API call. No, the iterator is just pretty much, will just show you the data, you know, and you're trying to get the key itself, just the unique ID. So that is where the aggregator helps with that by creating that key for you that you can now use to compare the uniqueness of that job post. So now we've given this Google search module and we've told it like, okay, we want you to focus on this column V, the apply URL column, and the condition here is this apply URL must be equal to this key. Then we want to limit this to 1, so it only checks once and doesn't just keep looping and checking non-stop. We're going to save this and we are going to run this. So now when we run, so before we run this, we also want to put a filter here. And why are we putting the filter? Because this Google Sheet is pretty much just initiating the role. It will pretty much, this Google Sheet is just pretty much searching the role. It's not doing anything. It's just checking that filter, the filtered condition we give it to make sure that the apply URL is equal to the key unique value. But how are we going to use that now? We're going to come here and create a filter to determine the kind of jobs posting that will go through. So here we're going to label this continue to add job posts posting to row. So what the condition here will be is, so okay, before I do this condition, let me run this so that you can understand this filter. So I'm just going to save this for now, and I'm just going to run this. Again, nothing will be mapped because we've not mapped it. So we'll run this one more time. I know usually I would, well, usually I don't usually like running this over and over again. I prefer to run the module ones, but just so you all can understand what is going on. So the third job term is being added to the list. So what this is doing is it's just checking this file right now to see, okay, that this column is equal to the link. So now what this filter now will do for us is, okay, let's quickly look at the data from the search row. So we're going to have 73 operations now, a combination of the 3 job search terms. And if we look at the first operation, again, the purpose of this module is just to search the row, just to check. It's just checking. We're just telling it this is the column to focus on. So, and as you can see here, we told it focus on column V. This is the key value. Is it equal to or not? The output. Now in the output, we can see the total number of bundles is equal to 0. What does that mean? It means that there was nothing returned because the column is empty. Everything will be 0. Everything will be 0. The total number of bundles returned is 0. Now, if there was a link, if there was a link here, and one of those, the link that was here was one of these 73 operations, then this bundle will change to 1. It's either 0 or 1. So now that we know it's either 0 or 1, meaning 0 is there's nothing, 1 means there's something, we can now come up here to now create a filter that says, because as you can see right now, before we set up the filter, this filter allowed all the 73 operations that all had 0 to go through, meaning there is no data, meaning these are all new job postings, meaning you can add them to the Google Sheets row. But now we want to now create a filter that blocks any data that is already there before. So we will come here, this is the Google Sheets search rows. We'll come to this and pick the total number of bundles, pick the text operator equals to, and we'll change this to 0. So we're going to make sure the text operator equals 0, meaning only filter out the bundles when it's 0, meaning do not let it pass, and only let the new job postings, which you'll see in a minute. So now let us map this real quick. So let's map this. This is the job title. So we're going to be mapping this from the array, from the aggregator. So we're going to map this really fast. Let's see how fast I can map this. Okay. Job title. core job title, title search, which is our value from earlier that I told you about, the company name. You can find that in the company data, the website URL, in case you want to check the company's info, their LinkedIn URL, you want to check their social media, the sector, industry that the job data is in. There should be a sector, industry. Where are you? Well, there's like this. There's industries and the sector industries. Okay, company sector and industry. Then the industries, as you can see, the industries is this, meaning everything in this array will be presented. Activities is this, all the activities that the company partakes in. The job description should be up here. Should be under the job information. The requirement summary should be job data should be here. The role activities, that means the activities for the role, what they expect from you. The technical tools for that role is saying there are a bunch of them. The year of experience, the minimum year of experience needed for the job. I don't know why I have this column though. I don't know why I put this column. Minimum industry and role here. Seniority level. The manager or non-manager role. That'll be the role type. The commitments. Is it remote or not? So that'll be workplace type. This is an hybrid. City, that'll be workplace city. The minimum compensation for this role. This did not put yearly minimum compensation, yearly maximum compensation. The apply URL, which is this. The published date for when the job post was published. That should be here. The year the company was founded. I think we should find that under the company data. Oh no, this is investments here. The year that was founded was the year founded 1994. Clearance, if the company requires security clearance or not. We leave these two blank for applied or interview. And unformatted pretty much means if you leave it at no, when the link is posted here, you can just click on it. But if you leave it as unformatted, then the link will not be clickable from the Excel sheet. So we're going to leave it on no. We're going to save this. Now we are now going to properly run this in full and see what happens. Bam. Let's go. So you'll start noticing, as you can see, it's all coming in now. They're all coming in, all the information, all the data is being filled up from the job posts that we set. It's getting all the information. We can see the job search term. It first iterated through the DevOps, iterated through the platform, then now iterating through the cloud engineer role. And now you can see the job search at 73, but only 57 went through. That means there was there was almost 20 or 16 duplicates, and those 16 duplicates did not go through. Now let me show you what that looks like. So now we have our job post, and they are all yeah, you can see them, remote, hybrid. We chose only those two, or I don't think an on-site role was clicked yet. So to understand what just happened here, remember we said the search role module was pretty much just letting the scenario know that we will be working with the apply URL field. This is the field we'll be working with. If we're going to be working with the entire thing, then we'll need to use the filter option. But because because of the key we created for this, we're only going to be focusing on the URL option. So yeah, we can see the bundles that went through. Bundle 26 didn't go through, and bundle 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay, so let's go look at bundle 26. Let's look at 31 to 35 to see what is going on there. I think they were blocked and they didn't go through. As you can see, it's showing 1, it's showing 0. So let's look at operation 23. As you can see, operation, was it 23? Or 21 or 26? So we can see operation 26, instead of we'll have 1 bundle. Look at that. Look at that. Only 1 bundle outputted. Bundle, the total number of bundles. Remember, that was the condition we gave, the total number of bundles. So back to 21, 26. Back to 26, we can see that this job position, so basically what happened there was, again, it's after all the jobs I iterated through. Remember we said check column V, check through column V for this job unique link. If you see this unique link there, it means in this clean job, it means it's already existing. So, or it already exists, sorry. So it found it. It found something. It found something this time, unlike before where it will return 0 and be like, yeah, we've not seen this link before. But now it say, no, we've seen this link before, we're not going to let that link go through. So that is what happened, and that is why 26, if we check 31, we can see there was an output. It brought out the filtered result saying yes, this link exists somewhere as well. 32, it brought it out as well. We can also confirm and check this place as well. For the first one, it was, let me see, operation 26. Can we get more information? This was a DevOps search term. So the ones that went through could probably, let's see NCT data. Let's see what we have here. Oh. So we have entity data. As you can see, they have a bunch of job postings for senior cloud engineer in Plano, in Phoenix, in another one in Plano, Texas. So as you can see, the job post already had this there and didn't allow it go through a second time. So that is why you saw that was blocked. So there you have it, a complete job post, a complete job tracking workflow. Uh, there is something I did not. Okay, there's something. Okay, so the next thing, sorry, the next thing. So like with this, you can do a lot with this flow, right? You can do a lot with this flow. If you want to add a Telegram link that will send this alert to you, if you set this like, okay, run this every 4 hours, run this every 12 hours. You know, you want to be up to date with every new job posting. So you can send to your email, you know, however you want to do it. And you, however you want to use the data, the world is your oyster. So so again, as you can see, I have two columns here. I have the applied column, and I have the interview yes no column. I have the applied yes column, and I have the interview yes column. So this again all depends on what you are trying to do or achieve for yourself. You can go on to extend this workflow. So just imagine you go through this job post, right? And instead of apply, let's change this to will apply, or applying. Let's change it to applying. So the reason why I'm changing to applying now is, if I now imagine you have a job post, and so imagine you have a job post and you want to apply to the job. So I can have a data validation for, I can have a data validation just like this on here, and if this changes to yes, I can have a workflow that will create a cover letter for me and send it to my email or send it to my Telegram immediately. So while I'm applying to the job, the cover letter is sent to me. I'll just copy the cover letter, or it's sent, or I can have it create be I can have the cover letter be created in a Google Doc, so that it's already, you know, ready for me in a PDF or Google Doc, and I just upload it. And it will take the information from the company, it will take the information from your resume, and create a well detailed, personalized cover letter to the recruiter or to the company or to the HR. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is show you why I have this interview column. So real quick, we're going to create another scenario. We can save this. Let's come back here. Let's come to scenario. Let's create a new scenario. Now what this new scenario I'm creating pretty much says like, okay, if the HR reaches out to you, the company reaches out to you, and they're like, oh, we are intrigued by your job experience, and we would love to set up a call with you, you can just come here and click on yes. You change it to interview yes. And what this does, for what this scenario will do, is it will watch this row. So that is the first thing we want to do. We want to watch for changes to this interview row. So if any of this changes to yes, it will trigger this scenario. So we want to add a webhook, or you can create a new one, it doesn't matter. So for watching changes, Google would not give you the kind of access that the other Google models do. This uses a webhook, and that is and to connect this webhook to this column, you can check the online help. step by step on how to do it and how to um, set it up. But pretty much what you'll be doing is you will copy this clip, your webhook URL. You will come to your Google Sheets, uh, under extensions. Where is extensions? Under your extensions, you see what is called your app script. Here you can create scripts for your Excel sheets. You want to come here and paste the. You want to come here and write out a script that changes when the column 27 is when column 27 changes. This script will be triggered, and this is the webhook that we saw from here. How to change it. So this is where we will now replace our webhook with the one we just took from here. Save. I'm going to save this project. Then you want to come to the trigger, because that was just the script needed. Then you want to come to the trigger. You want to click on add new trigger. Leave this on edit. The source obviously will be from the spreadsheet, because that is where the trigger is happening. And on events, you want to change this to on edit, and you save it, and you are good to go. And your Google Sheets watch change is now connected. So now what next? After this changes, you want to, if there's a change on this column, this will get triggered automatically, and we can now say we want to pull in the data from the row that was from the row that the change happened. So again, we're going to do get range values, because this will show us the row we want to work with. We're going to connect our JScraper. Our sheet name is the clean jobs. So what range are we going to work with? Let me save this real quick, or let me just cancel. Let me save this and let me run this. Run this only. So this is waiting for data right now. It's waiting for a change to happen. So I'm going to change this column now to yes, and we should see this kick off. So let's change this to yes, and voila, the watch changes. Watch and notice there was a change in this column, and it's sent the results. And hey, it was like, hey, row 3 just had a change. This is the date. This is everything on that row. This is the data on that row from row column 1 to column 27. Everything you want to know on this whole entire row has been outputted. So now we're going to connect this to this, because now we want to get all this information. We want to get all this information from the row that was changed, from where the trigger happened. Because again, if I have an interview with this person, I want all the data from that row to be sent to my get range value. So for the range, we are going to map they say enter the range you want to get. So we want to get the range from we want to use the row number. What am I looking for? I'm trying to find the row number, which should be okay. For now, let's just put in the row number is not showing up because this tool wasn't connect. Let me delete this and put it back. Um, that happened because of the way I opened this first, so everything wasn't properly mapped well. Yes, so this is the row number, what we're looking for. So we want the data to send everything from the row number. I mean, we can do the raw data, we can do the raw data as well, but because it wants the results in this way, assuming we're using a different module, I think raw data would fit perfectly there. But this is asking for a range, so we want to use the row number. Yeah, so we'll say, okay, whatever the row number, because row number could be row number 3, row number 7, row number 24. So we'll say A row number, so A24 from the A to the Z, to Z row number. We don't even need the Z. Let's do it to the Y. So from A row number to Y row number, give me the data for that. Yes, it contains errors, and save. So now we have so this will run, this will pull out the data from the column that was changed. And now that we have all that data, we can now set up a chat GPT model that will create a completion for us based on the data we have about the company that wants to do an interview with us. So we'll use GPT-4 for this, and we're going to set two messages. One will be the system message, because again, you want to um, tell the system what they are trying to do. So for this, I already have a preset instruction that says you are a calm, sharp, and helpful interview prep coach for tech professionals. Be concise, be practical, and be tailored. So here we're going to add the instruction for the user, and for the user it's going to be this. Now this is the message. I've been invited to interview for the following role. Help me prepare by returning a JSON object with the following keys. So when you want to work with mapped data, when you want to work with parsed JSON objects or outputs with the ChatGPT, you want to specify it in the message to return the JSON object as JSON outputs, and you want to change this to JSON and parse this. If you don't do that, you might get an error that tells you to go do it. So all this, we are going to map this properly. The job title, this is the job title, the call title, the company name. I think the name of the company should be this. The location is this S, but I don't think, since I took the cities, this doesn't have the city. The compensation, I don't think this has compensation, but I think it was like for T and for U. This example that we're using to map doesn't have, I don't think the company had they didn't post the compensation. The apply URL, which is this, the requirement summary, which no, I think this is the tools. The requirement summary is oh no, yeah, developing infrastructure. This is the requirement summary. The tools. This is the tools. The job description. This is the job description. So now we properly mapped and written our instruction for our model. Then what we are going to do now is run this. Or before, let's turn this on, waiting for data, and let's work with, let's use number 5. Okay, number 5 as, let me see. Okay, yes, they have the CT, they have compensation. Okay, so let's say number 5 called me for an interview. We click yes. This kicks off, and we can see ChatGPT is working, and I'm excited to see what the output will be. Voila, there's an output. So yeah, we can see that it's watched for a change for row number 5. It got all the values for that row that we asked for A to Y, and it's imputed into ChatGPT. And now it returned the company overview, the role summary, telling me what the role summary is about, how my skills align. It says blah blah blah. You can also add your resume to the GPT to properly, check your skills, to make sure that it properly aligns. Tips for interviewing with them: demonstrate your understanding of the cloud architecture, show your ability to integrate security, and be prepared to discuss of how you stayed current with cloud technologies tools. Questions to ask: you want to know what the team structure is, what their challenges are, what the goal of why they're looking for someone for this role. All these things. It will go through the company's data and everything to pick out nice questions for you to ask. And pretty much, again, if you want to send this to yourself or to someone in an email or Telegram or Slack or something, or Notion, however or whatever you want to do with the data. For me, I have it sent out properly formatted to Telegram, where it sends me the outputs for the jobs that I get interviews for, and I was going to show you guys how to also select each item in this array, assuming you just want to maybe pick the second or third one. You can easily do that, but there's no situation where we need to do that. So, but yeah, that is pretty much the entire job post or job search workflow I have created. This helps, saves time, and helps you by searching for your jobs, and you can now later apply to them, and it also keeps you at the forefront of every new job posting that comes out. So thank you for watching all of this. If you want to create a custom workflow for yourself or for your business, this is what I do for a living. I'm a DevOps engineer by day and a no-code automation expert by night. I love automation, obviously, and um, if you need this, I'm going to put the I'm going to put the links to this job post in sorry, I'm going to put the blueprint link in the description, so you can get it, play around with it, change it to yourself and use it for yourself. uh, and yeah, thank you. Like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.